Hi friends, how are you all? I hope all are good at home. Welcome to my channel. Today I am going to discuss about continuation of active voice and passive voice. Past continuous tense. Structure: subject plus was, verb plus v1 plus ing plus object or object. It's a active voice structure. Object plus was, verb plus being plus v3 plus by plus subject. It's a passive voice structure. For example, the chief guest was giving away the prizes. It's an active voice structure. Here, the chief guest was the subject, was giving plus the it's a v1 plus ing form. Away the prizes is the object. The prizes were being given away by the chief guest. It's a passive voice. Here we change best to follow the 5 rules. Then we change it to active voice into passive voice. The prizes were being given away by the chief guest. Next example, which book were you reading? It's an active voice. Which book was being read by you? It's a passive voice. Which or where, what, then there is no changes in passive voice also. No, but one condition we will change. Who means it's a changes into passive voice by whom. Who will become by whom. Which book was being read by you? It's a passive voice. Was means book was v1 plus being form, read v3 form, by is the preposition, then you means you become you. There is no change in you. Then why was she beating the child? It's an active voice. Why was the child being beaten by her? It's a passive voice. I was taking the class at this time yesterday. It's an active voice. Here I was taking the class at this time yesterday. I is the subject, or was talking is the v1 plus ing form. The class is the object. Object will become subject. The class was being taken by me at this time yesterday. It's a passive voice. The class is the like a object. Here subject was being v1 plus ing form, taken v3 form, by is the preposition, me is the I will become me at this time extra. It's as it is, we will write like as it is. It's a passive voice. Next example, children weren't doing the homework at 5 p.m. extra. It's a active voice. Here children is a subject, weren't plus doing is the wing form, v1 plus ing form. The homework is the object. Homework was, object will become subject. Homework was not being done by children at 5 p.m. extra day. It's a passive voice. Done v3 form, by is the preposition form. Children is the here above subject and will become object. Homework was not being done by children at 5 p.m. extra. It's a passive voice. Past perfect tense. Subject plus had plus v3 plus object. It's a active voice structure. It's a structure of active voice. Object plus had plus been plus v3 plus by plus subject. It's a passive voice structure. Subject will become object. Then we use just had plus been plus v3 plus by, then plus a subject. It's a passive voice structure. For example, I had never experienced such a noisy scene before. It's an active voice. Here I is the subject, had plus been had plus v3 form, and experienced is the v3 form. Such a noise is the object. Object will become subject. Such a noisy scene had never been experienced by me before. It's a passive voice. Such a noisy is the subject become object. Object become subject. Scene had is the v3 had is the had like there is no change in had. Never been, it's a just to follow the had been plus v3 is the experienced, by is the preposition. Here subject is the I will become me. Me is the pronoun form. Me before, it's a passive voice. The masons had built the house in time. It's an active voice. The house had been built in time by the masons. It's a passive voice. The masons, here the masons is a subject, had plus v3 plus had build plus the house is the object. The house had been, the house had been, had plus been plus built is the v3 in time, by is the preposition, the masons. The masons is the subject will become object. The house had been built in time by the masons. It's a private passive voice. Had she persisted in her demand, it's an active voice. Here it's a interrogative question mark. Had, there is no change in had, she becomes her. Sorry, not she. Like she becomes her. Her demand, here means demand is the object will become subject. Her demand being persisted v3 form, in by is the preposition, she becomes her. Had her demand been persisted in by her is the passive voice. Next example, how had he achieved his object, it's the active voice. How, there is no change in how, had he becomes, here is becomes is, his object is the object, been plus v3 form, achieved plus by is the preposition, here he will becomes him, it's him is the pronoun form. How had his object been achieved by him, it's a passive voice. Next example, why had you not spoken to him, it's an active voice. There is no change in WH question forms. Why had he, him becomes he, here him is the object, you is the subject, spoken is the v3 form, and to him is the object will become subject. He not been plus been, spoken is the v3 form, to by is the preposition, you becomes you, there is no change in you, it's a passive voice. Why had he not been spoken to by you, it's a negative interrogative. Then next example, Shakespeare had written many poems, it's the active voice. Here Shakespeare is the subject, had written is the v3 plus v3 form, many poems is the object will become subject. Many poems had been written by Shakespeare. Many poems is the, here is the subject, had been v1 v3 plus been plus had plus v3 plus been, written is the v3 form, plus by is the preposition, plus Shakespeare is the, here is the Shakespeare is the object. Many poems had been written by Shakespeare, it's a passive voice. Next example, had he completed a PG before he got a job, it's an active voice. Had PG been completed by him before he got a job, here he completed PG before he got a job, it's also interrogative. PG being completed by him, here PG is the object, PG being completed v3 form, by is the preposition, he becomes him, before he got a job, it's a passive voice. Simple future tense structure, subject plus will or shall plus v1 plus object, it's the active voice structure. Object plus will or shall plus be plus v3 plus by plus subject, it's a passive voice structure. For example, I will have a cup of tea, it's the active voice. I is the subject, will is the v1, will or shall plus have v1 plus a cup of tea, a cup is the cup of tea is the object will become subject. A cup of tea will be had by me, had is the v3 form, by is the preposition, I will become me, it's a pronoun form, it's a passive voice. A cup of tea will become had by me, it's a passive voice. Next example, I will help you in every aspect, it's the active voice. Here I is the subject, help is the v3, you in every aspect is the object, you will be helped by me, You will become, here you will become you is the object. You become you same like you as it is same. You will be helped is the V3 form, by is the preposition form, I will become me, it's a pronoun form. In every accept is as it is a change. Passive voice, there is no change in every accept, it's a passive voice. You will be helped by me in every accept. I is the subject, you is the object, will help is the V1 form. You will be helped by me in every accept, it's a passive voice. Interrogative positive questions. Will you have a cup of tea? It's the active voice. You is the subject, have is the like a V form, a cup of tea is the object. Will same like as it is, a cup of tea, B plus add is the V3 form, by is the preposition, you will become as it is the same, there is no change in you, it's a passive voice. Will a cup of tea be had by you? It's a passive voice. Next example, will you not help me? It's a negative interrogative. Active voice, like here is the you is the subject, not help me, help is the V1 plus me is the object, it's active voice. Shall I not be helped by you? Whenever you use that I will become like whenever you write I, then you will use that I we, then we will write shall. Shall I not be helped by you? Helped is the V3 form, by is the preposition, you become you, same as it is. It's a passive voice. Shall I not be helped by you? Future continuous tense. There is no passive voice in future continuous tense. Future perfect tense. Structure: subject plus will or shall plus have plus V3 plus object. It's an active voice structure. Object plus will or shall plus have plus been plus V3 plus by plus subject. It's a passive voice structure. For example, she will have finished the work by 6 p.m. It's an active voice. Here she is the subject, will have is the like will or shall plus have plus V3 plus object. Finish is the V3 form, the work is the object, active voice. Then change into passive voice. The work is the object, will become subject. The work will have plus been plus V3 form finished plus by is the preposition form. She will become her by 6 p.m. Here by there is no change in by 6 p.m. It's a passive voice. The work will have been finished by her by 6 p.m. It's a passive voice. Next example, they will have elected him their leader. It's an active voice. Here there is the subject, will have plus V3, elected V3 plus him plus object. Him is the object. Him will become like a subject. He will have been elected as their leader by them. It's a passive voice. Him will become he. He will have plus been plus elected. Elected is the V3 form. As their leader. As their leader is the here subject, will become object. By them. By them there is no change in by them. Sorry, by is the preposition. They will become them is the pronoun form. It's a passive voice. He will have been elected as their leader by them. It's a passive voice. Next example, will she have cooked the food? It's an active voice. It's an interrogative question form, positive interrogative. Will the food have been cooked by her? Here there is no change in will. The food will become here active. In active voice, the food will is the object. Here it's like subject, it will become a change subject into subject. The food have been cooked is the V3 form, by is the preposition, she will become her, she becomes her. Will the food have been cooked by her, it's a passive voice. Next example, who will have opposed you, it's an active voice. By whom, I already said to you, whom, whenever you see that who just changes into passive voice, by whom, you have to write like that, by whom. By whom will you have been opposed, it's a passive voice. Future perfect continuous tense, there is no passive voice in future perfect continuous tense. If you like my video, please like, share and comment. Then don't forget, please subscribe my channel. Please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. Have a good day. Thank you for watching.